Okay, let me explain you chemical antiviral agents, or you can also refer it as synthetic antiviral agents. The name, as the name indicates, it is acting against the viruses. So you call them as antiviral drugs. Okay, again you have to recall different events of the virus replication, that is entry, penetration, uncoating, transcription, expression, DNA synthesis or genome replication, then budding of assembly, all that you have to sequentially remember. So just these antiviral compounds, you are calling it as natural or biological, synthetic or chemicals. So there are so many antiviral compounds, chemicals, which actually inhibits the virus replication. So viral entry is the earliest mechanism. So there are certain chemicals which actually prevent this process of virus entry. Okay, so the virus come in contact with the host cell and it introduces the virus nucleic acid into the cell. So at that level, at viral entry level, the virus entry can be prevented. So because the receptors which are present on the virus envelope, they are complementary to the host cell. They are with close proximity with that of the virus. Therefore there is adsorption process taking place. So the viral entry mechanisms, you know that they get attached, there could be membranous fusion and so on. Okay, so DNA viruses like herpes virus, pox virus, hepadna viruses and RNA viruses, they all will enter through the this process of viral fusion process, membrane fusion process, and they get their through endocytosis process, they are able to get or they are going to release their nucleic acid. So viruses like adenovirus, and are you able to see the material, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So here, through endocytosis process, parvoviruses, adenoviruses, papilloma virus, they all will show this kind of endocytosis mechanism. So this viral penetration and release of nucleic acid. So these two steps are inhibited by various chemical agents. So whenever there is a virus infection, in the process of treatment, just like how antibiotics are used for bacterial infections, here the antiviral agents are used in viral infections. So there are certain classes of these antiviral drugs which can be used to inhibit this kind of action. So when it is at the level of virus attachment, so there are certain agents which block the
Attachment to the virus.
attachment. So the first class of antiviral agents are antiviral agents that actually can block attachment and uncoating. Attachment and uncoating. So these are the first early events of virus life cycle. So uncoating. So there are certain chemicals which inhibit. There are some which can inhibit both. There are some which can inhibit either attachment or uncoating. Let us see what are those examples. Are you able to follow, students?
Yes,
First you
ma'am.
have to recall the virus life cycle. Okay, so there are certain chemicals which are designed in such a way that they prevent the viral attachment to the host cell and they prevent the release of nucleic acid into the cytoplasm. So these agents are antiviral agents which can block the attachment and uncoating process. So if you talk about the first example, that is the CD4A protein receptor. This CD4 receptor in HIV I explained you. So these are the receptors of T cells which actually allow the virus entry and they accept the HIV virus attachment. So you also call the cell populations with the CD4 receptor as CD4 plus T cells. Yes, you remember that? So
Yes, ma'am.
there are several key points in HIV infection like GP120 envelope protein, which actually helps in binding of the envelope of the HIV virus to the CD4 receptor. And I also explained you CCR5 receptor, which is found on the CD4 cells as well as macrophages, and CX4 receptor, this is a chemokine receptor found on CD4 cells, and GP41, which is actually required for the process of penetration. So if you take example of HIV virus, to understand these antiviral agents action, so the CD4, CR5, CXCR4 receptors as well as GP41 and GP120 proteins can be blocked. So such blockage is through certain chemicals. So anti-GP120, I am using a term called anti-GP. Anti-GP120. Why am you calling it as anti-GP120 chemical compound? Because it is going to inhibit this GP120, which is the natural receptor that is found on the GP120 is a protein which is expressed by HIV. This, with the help of this, it directs the virus to get attached to the CD4 receptor of the immune cells. So the recombinant, there are certain, because this anti-GP120 and there is another compound which is called as recombinant CD4, this inhibit the HIV infection in permissive cells. So this recombinant genetic hybrid molecules and also anti-GP120 molecules will bind to the CD4 substitutes or CD4 receptors. So these regions are already occupied by these chemical compounds clinically, so resulting the disappointment for the virus for its attachment. So the mechanism of action of this is understood. Both anti-GP120 and CD4 bind to GP120. So the CD4, recombinant CD4 molecule and anti-GP120 are the chemical compounds which can bind to GP120, the viral envelope glycoprotein, and it interacts with the CD4 molecule of the target cells and they mediate the process of, otherwise they mediate the process of adsorption, but this kind of a mechanism of blocking the anti-GP120 with that of the CD4 will block the virus attachment, and it has been shown that if GP120 molecule on the viral envelope is not able to recognize the viral host cell, then it is probably resulting in failure of this molecule. So anti-GP120 blocks the CD4 receptor and mediates its course of action. Similarly, there are the other compounds which are called as so this HIV entry into the human cells requires GP120 and CD4 receptors. So this I already explained you, the CX4, CCR5 and all. So these receptors are blocked by anti-GP120 molecule. Then there is another example which I want to quote here, but it is not written here, but still make a point of it. That is, we are talking about the chemicals which can inhibit or block the receptors so that both attachment and uncoating step is getting prevented. The first one is anti-GP120. Second example is recombinant molecule. So this recombinant molecule, I just said it as recombinant molecule. What is this recombinant molecule? It is called as ICAM1. So this ICAM1 has been identified. The full form of this ICAM1 is intracellular. I stands for intracellular cell adhesion molecule. Intracellular cell adhesion molecule. So these molecules are recombinant molecules constructed. It has been identified as a cellular receptor, and it is able to block this recombinant ICA1 blocks effectively the some of the viruses, and because it is able to block the active sites of attachment. Similarly, there is another chemical or molecule which is antiviral in its action is amantadine. This I have told you in influenza also. Amantadine, AMANTADINE. Amantadine is the third example. This is the second example. First one is anti-GP. First one is anti-GP 120. These are the three different chemical molecules which can block. So this amantadine and also even remantadine also we have taken. So this remantadine. So these are prophylactically used for the treatment of influenza infections, which you already know. So these drugs, they bind to M2 protein and matrix protein, that is the channel protein. So they are able to block this channel. So these drugs, they bind to M2 viral proteins and they block the channels of lipid envelope so that they are not able to recognize and bind to the receptors that are provided. So that is how, because you know in influenza virus replication I explained you that M2 channel is important in the process of uncoating. After it is internalized, the endocytosis takes place and the release of viral nucleic acid is taking place through M2 channel. So this amantadine and remantadine drugs, they are blocking the M2 channel. So because they are blocking the M2 channel, uncoating process is inhibited. So you cannot expect the influenza viral genome to release into the cytosol because M2 channel blockage is taking place by amantadine and remantadine. Okay, have you understood this, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how many examples I gave you for chemical antiviral agents? It is anti-GP 120, then recombinant intracellular cell adhesion molecule, especially ICAM, has been identified as a cellular protein with all rhinoviruses strains. They get inhibited when this ICAM molecule is used because it completely blocks the initial attachment itself. Okay, it is able to block CAM1 and anti-GP120 for HIV. So three examples I gave you: anti-GP120 against CD4 receptors. These molecules block it and they will not allow the attachment or fusion itself. Then CAM1 for rhinoviruses, it blocks and it will not allow the virus for attachment. Amantadine and remantadine will inhibit the process of uncoating. Okay, have you understood this first example?
Yes, ma'am.
Agents that block the attachment uncoating. Some can block both also. Okay, so these are the three examples which you have to write for the first classes of virus antiviral agents. Preventing entry. Three examples. One, anti-GP 120. Second is what did I say? ICAM1. Third is amantadine and remantadine.
Remantadine.
Remantadine. Okay. Then I'm moving on to the next. That is agents. Agents that inhibit DNA polymerase. polymerase. It means that nucleic acid synthesis is getting inhibited. So, agent third, I think better I write it somewhere so that. Okay, I have come here. So the second class is of antiviral agents are, second classes of antiviral agents are antivirals which can inhibit DNA polymerases. Okay, so the discovery of this nucleoside. So the molecule exactly looks like a nucleoside. So they are recognizable by the DNA polymerase enzyme. So the chemicals like acyclovir, valacyclovir, ganciclovir, vanciclovir, penciclovir, all these examples, entecavir. So all these acyclovir, they are the nucleotides, nucleosides with modifications, and these nucleoside-like molecules, they are all nucleoside-like molecules. Therefore, these molecules can be recognized by DNA polymerase enzyme. So that is how they are able to block the viruses, and these nucleoside molecules, they lack a proper radicals for cross-linking. They get intercalated in the DNA4 in the process of replication, but they don't have a cross-linking or proper radicals for further cross-linking with the next incoming nucleoside. So these nucleoside-like molecules have a great affinity for binding onto the polymerase enzyme than the natural nucleosides. So in the competition, always these antiviral drugs, they occupy, they get catalyzed in the growing chain of the DNA, because this DNA polymerase has got more affinity with that of this. So the examples are vidrabine. So they're all adenine, guanine kind of substitutes. So there are so many: acyclovir, ganciclovir, famciclovir, vidarabine, idocuridine, ribavirin. So many examples are there. All these has got affinity towards DNA polymerase. So if you talk about acyclovir, it looks like guanosine. So it looks like a purine nucleoside which is analogous to guanosine. So it gets intercalated instead of guanosine. This acyclovir is getting into the chain. So this is used in the treatment of herpes infection, chickenpox infection, shingles, and a very effective antiviral agents in controlling the herpes infections. So even because this herpes is a recurrent skin infection, so even topical applications of the same is also available. Ocular keratitis caused by herpes infection, all these are noted in this process of nucleoside, what we are calling nucleoside molecules like acyclovir, etc. Okay, so this is how they are used in the treatment of this thing. The mechanism of action is simple, that this acyclovir will be converted to viral thymidine kinase to acyclovir monophosphate, which is then converted to host cell kinases, so that it forms acyclovir triphosphate instead of guanosine triphosphate. Acyclovir triphosphate is formed. So this ACP-GP in turn is competitively competing with the guanosine triphosphate, and it is getting into the replicating fork and inhibiting the HSV replication. Further cross-linking with the next incoming nucleoside is not taking place because it doesn't have the terminal ends. So this acyclovir triphosphate stops the replication of the viral DNA by competitive inhibition of viral DNA polymerase, incorporation into the termination of the growing viral DNA chain, and also inactivating the DNA polymerase enzyme. So just imagine the discovery of such antiviral agents gave a big breakthrough in treatment of viral infections, especially for hepatitis, in herpes simplex virus infection, and all these cases we use this kind of treatment. So 1 minute, let me show the structure. I don't know whether you can, in the exam you can able to draw the structures or not, but definitely you try to make an attempt. Can you see? So if you know the guanosine structure, this is the structure, guanosine structure. How come it is moving? This is the acyclovir structure. Guanosine structure and acyclovir structures are mimicking. Okay? Side by side, if I show, maybe you can see. But I am not able to show. Guanosine structure and acyclovir structure. Both are one at the same, except that the ribose sugar, instead of ribose sugar, it has got hydroxyl groups. Okay? So in herpes cases, in all these clinical cases, this drug is being used. Okay? Vidarabine is adenine derivative, adenine analog, and acyclovir is guanosine analog. So like that, for every of these examples what we have seen, they mimic the nucleosides and they block the DNA polymerase, they inactivate the DNA polymerase, and they are going to stop the process of replication. Is the second example is clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
That is agents that inhibit the DNA polymerase. I gave you two you can write two examples here. Iodouridine, IDU. 1 minute, students. Here you need one small clarity. We are directly discussing the DNA polymerase as well as DNA replication. Okay, agents that exclusively block DNA polymerases. Two examples are there. Exclusively DNA polymerase enzyme. Okay, there are two examples, that is vidarabine. Vidarabine is adenine analog. Then second example is iodouridine. This is uracil. Uridine analog. Okay. So these two exclusively target the DNA polymerase. And I also explained acyclovir, all these examples, acyclovir, ganciclovir and all. So two examples at least you remember, ganciclovir and acyclovir. These are also purine analogs only. But the thing is, they are target activated nucleoside analogs. So you classify them as target activated nucleoside analogs, which will interfere with the process of replication. So here you have to make it a clear cut note that these agents, some are directly inhibiting the DNA polymerase and some are getting intercalated into the DNA fork and they are trying to inhibit. Examples are acyclovir and famciclovir. Okay, so and ganciclovir, all these examples, they are targeted activated nucleoside analogs. Okay, targeted activated nucleoside analogs. Then within the same point, there is another example, agents that inhibit the reverse transcriptase enzyme. Okay, agents that inhibit the reverse transcriptase enzyme. Here I am not drawing the structure, students. What is it I am speaking now? Reverse transcriptase. Anyhow, make a note of it. The chemical analogs which can target reverse transcriptase. So they are a specialized group. Do you know that reverse transcriptase is from RNA to DNA synthesis. So, okay, so these specialized polymerase inhibitors are those which interferes with the retroviruses transcriptase enzyme. So, those examples include zidovudine. So, this zidovudine it resembles thymidine. Okay, all mode of action is same, that they get intercalated, they block the enzyme, whether it is DNA polymerase or reverse transcriptase. But this example zidovudine, this is also referred as AZT, that is azidothymidiene, AZT, that is azidothymidiene. So this targets the reverse transcriptase enzyme of retroviruses. So they resemble thymidine except in one particular position, that is at the 3' position they have a pentose ring. Otherwise zidovudine and thymidine both look same to same, both of them, except the 3' position there is a change. So the change is it has got hydroxyl group at the 3' position. So the mechanism of antiviral action here is through competitive inhibition and chain termination. All these enzymes, they terminate the reaction with competitive inhibition. So zidovudine has got greater affinity with reverse transcriptase enzyme, and it acts like the zidovudine acts as a natural substance, and it is binding to the reverse transcriptase enzyme and blocks it. And it is also capable of terminating the phosphorylation step. So it has got kinase activity, therefore it can partially bound for some time with the transcriptase enzyme, and it inhibits the viral DNA synthesis. So both by competitive inhibition and by chain termination, the zidovudine can show its action. So this is used against the retroviruses. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
There are so many examples. I just for you to get follow. These are nucleoside. You also called as NRTIs, nucleoside inhibitors, receptor. NR ante RI ante reverse transcriptase. If I touch it, it is going. I don't know. Just touch it, it is going. I think I should have opened normally this because I have to write. I am using this. Reverse transcriptase, no? Reverse transcriptase. Just tell me, ask me to stop when I scroll up down. As zidovudine.
Here, ma'am.
So you call them as NNRTIs because they are nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. NR stands for nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. So you are calling them as NTRTIs, as nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. They can be non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors also. Proteinase inhibitors, all these inhibitors will block the reverse transcriptase enzymes. So there are so many examples which can block the reverse transcription. The most popular example is the zidovudine. And you have the other examples also. They are called as zalcitabine and didanosine. Didanosine. This is called as DDI. AZT, DDI. They're all associated with reverse transcriptase blocking. And another one, lamivudine. Okay, so these are the reverse transcriptase inhibitors. So you call them as NRTIs. What are these NRTIs? They are nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors, NRTIs. Like that, we have other set of examples also. I said they may be non-nucleoside reverse transcriptases, protease inhibitors, etc. So for protease inhibitors, also one example you can remember, that is Invinavir, Rotanavir. So these are the protease inhibitors, okay? Protease inhibitors. So at least one or two examples you try to remember. Have you understood this, students? Agents that inhibit reverse transcriptase. Then the next example is nucleoside analogs. This broad spectrum nucleoside analogs like ribavirin. Ribavirin is very popular now. So this is a nucleoside analog of guanosine, which actually block the GTP intercalation, and the foscarnet. This also can inhibit the nucleoside analogs. So these are the most popular examples. I just introduced this topic to you all, students. I think we need to spend one more day, one more class, so that you will get acquainted with these terms. There are so many examples like that. Whether structures you write or not, but some tabular forms, some examples. For your convenience, I classified them as agents that block attachment and uncoating. I gave you 3 examples: anti-GP120, and recombinant intracellular cell adhesion molecule, agents that inhibit DNA polymerase. 3 examples I gave you for agents that block the attachment and uncoating. Then agents that inhibit DNA polymerase is vidarabine and idouridine. 2 examples I gave you. And the third category is agents that act as target activated nucleoside analogs. Nucleoside analogs already you know, that is acyclovir, famciclovir, which can block the reverse transcriptase enzyme. And agents that these are not reverse transcriptase. Target activated nucleoside analogs are acyclovir and famciclovir, which act like a nucleoside. They mimic the nucleoside analogs and they stop the DNA synthesis, and they are blocking the DNA polymerase enzyme. So for DNA polymerase enzyme, 4 examples you have to remember. One which directly inactivates the enzyme, like vidarabine and idouridine. Then another mechanism through competitive inhibition and DNA polymerase inhibition, that is through acyclovir and famciclovir, which you label it as target activated nucleoside analogs. Then the next category is agents that inhibits reverse transcription, or agents that inhibit reverse transcriptase enzyme. Zidovudine as the example, as a thymidine thymidine analog, and as one example we have seen there, and lamivudine also you can remember. Then protease inhibitors also I gave you, that is ritonavir, edinavir. So these will directly block the protease enzyme. That is between gal and pol junctions, there is a sequence protease. So that protease expression, that protease enzyme is getting blocked by this ritonavir and edinavir, because these are very important in packing step also. This protease inhibitors are required because they are actually involved in structural proteins and structural enzymes expression. Then we have broad spectrum nucleoside analogs like ribavirin and all, which are guanosine, what you call inhibitors, the guanosine analogs. Okay, I have not shown you one by one. Probably in the next class I can spare some more time and try to make it up.